What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how I'm going to be approaching the week from November 24th to the 28th, 2025. We're going to go over the levels that I have marked out on my charts, what I'm looking at, some potential scenarios, and then we're going to briefly go through the news. I am recording this early in the weekend, so if there's any changes in the news, follow me on TikTok. I'm going to drop that in the pinned comments so you guys can follow me. I'll update you guys and like how I'm approaching every single day if there's changes. And link for the Discord is in the pinned comment as well. If you guys want to join, we're going to be doing some live trading again, live VC this week. So if you guys want to trade with us, links in the pinned comment and sign up link. Alpha Futures 10% off link is in the comment if you guys want to sign up on there as well. So let's get right into this. We're going to run through the NQ chart. We're going to run through ES, and then we're going to briefly go through the news really quick. If you guys remember, or if you've seen the weekly outlook last week, I said that I wanted to see how price is going to react off of this daily fair value gap. Let's go over to NQ. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So coming into the week, I wanted to see how price is going to react off of this daily gap. I said if we reject it, we're probably going to seek lower to the previous week's low at least. And if we reverse it, we're probably going to go higher. And as soon as, the week started, we end up tapping into this daily gap and completely selling off, taking out the previous week's low. And then we eventually came down and ended up taking out this weekly swing low. And if you actually remember, we're actually respecting these weekly bullish fair value gaps right here. We actually have two of them stacked up. So we are in a weekly bullish fair value gap. So we're in an interesting area in price. We just swept out higher time frame sell side liquidity. And we're delivering out of a weekly bullish fair value gap. Starting on the monthly, we'll start from the top. So monthly, our next important draw is this monthly gap. We also are respecting off of this very small monthly bullish FVG, if you guys can see it right there. But the weekly, to me, I'm going to be looking at a little bit more. I don't really pay too much attention to the monthly. So on the weekly, we obviously the last 3 weeks we've had bearish closes. We actually got a nice close below on the weekly. We ended up getting like kind of like a change in the state, but we are delivering off of this weekly bullish FEG, these two stacked up gaps. So one thing to watch out for is keep this marked out and, keep an eye on how we react off of this weekly bullish fair value gap. Again, if we probably eventually come down and inverse this, that is going to be a telltale sign, because then at that point we'd really be breaking structure on the weekly. So if we come down and inverse this weekly gap eventually, we're going to likely be heading down, I'd assume, into this monthly gap down here. But before we get into all that, that was just something I wanted to point out. Show you guys what I have marked out on my chart, just kind of the most relevant areas to us right now, which is going to be previous week's high, previous week's low, and then moving down, we have this weekly low all the way down here as a kind of like a a bit of a far away target, but this is a higher time frame sell side target where if we see that shift on the higher time frame, it's going to be an area to watch. Moving down to so on the weekly though, we technically have shifted order flow. We technically have a change in the state, but we are delivering out of this weekly gap. So for me to really want to say that we're shifting fully to bearish order flow in the higher time frame, I really want to see this weekly gap or these two gaps get inversed. And then I can really say that we're shifting bearish on the higher time frame, although that's what it's looking like right now. So we're going to go down to the daily. And on the daily, we've obviously been trending slowly downwards since the end of October. So for the last about 3 weeks, we've been slowly, coming down, coming back up, coming down, coming back up, coming down, just trending slowly to the downside. So in terms of draws here, we have this daily gap still marked out. I have, again, like I said, previous week's high, previous week's low. We have this small daily low right here and then weekly low. Those are my higher time frame draws on liquidity, right? So again, price came down, swept out a ton of sell side liquidity and bounced off of this weekly bullish fair value gap. Let's go over to ES, kind of look. It's pretty much the same thing, but again, on the monthly, bullish order flow. Our next monthly, we have this very small monthly bullish FVG. Like I said, same thing on NQ, but the next major one is all the way down here. Really not something to worry about right now. We look on the weekly, prices came down these last 3 weeks, or 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, I guess you could say, with bearish closes here. We ended up taking out this weekly low, and again, we are delivering off of a weekly bullish fair value gap right here, as you can see. So again, we're holding it. We swept out sell side, so it's going to be one of those areas where price can literally go either way. So we're going to have to pay attention, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at mainly going into the week. So first on ES, again, I have previous week's high, previous week's low. We have this weekly low down here, and then on the daily, what I have marked out is, again, this daily fair value gap. We have a small daily high, right here, and then we have this daily low down here. But again, order flow is bearish, on the daily. So going over to NQ, this is where I base everything off of. Again, what I'm looking at coming into the week is going to be this major 4-hour gap. So if you guys were on the charts Friday, this was my draw on liquidity was coming into this 4-hour gap. We didn't end up catching any trades into it. Unfortunately, we didn't end up seeing any opportunities. but I wanted to see price come in and rebalance this leg, and I didn't end up getting anything, but we ended up getting that delivery into the gap in the PM session. So unfortunately didn't get anything, but this gap right here is going to be a very important area for us, and we're going to have to see how price delivers off of this 4-hour gap. Okay, this is what we have to work with. We don't have any daily gaps to work with right now. So for me, coming into the start of the week, I really want to see how price is going to respond to this gap. If we reject off this gap, maybe we manipulate higher, we get a nice rejection off of it, we can likely be seeking out previous week's low and potentially these higher time frame daily lows down here. We still have a ton of sell side liquidity. So if we get that rejection off of this 4-hour gap, we could potentially be seeking lower. And then we could maybe see a reversal, a relief bounce reversal from there. So that could be scenario number one. Scenario number two, we come into this gap, we get a nice rejection, and we just continue to dump lower. We end up inversing the weekly, and we get a higher time frame, pure shift bearish, right? So that could be another scenario. And then scenario number three is we come up, we trade through the gap, we end up inversing it, and then we end up trading towards the previous week's high, and then we reassess from there. So I really just want to see how price reacts off this 4-hour gap. Okay, I don't want to get too far ahead, but basically, mainly what I'm looking at is, if we reject this gap, my main idea is to see price come down, take out previous week's low, maybe these draws down here, and then reassess from there. Maybe we catch a relief bounce from there, we catch a reversal back to the upside, or we look for continuations lower to take out the rest of those sell side draws and liquidity on the higher time frame. If we come up and we inverse this gap to the upside, we trade through it, maybe we come up, we inverse it, we're going to be looking most likely to seek out our previous week's high. And then we'll have to reassess from there again. Maybe from there, we see, a shift back downwards, or we could just keep seeking continuations to the upside. I don't really have a strong bias right now. I really want to just see, my main idea coming into the week is to see how price is going to react again off that 4-hour bearish gap right here. And at the end of the week, I want to see how we react off of, again, this weekly bullish FVG right here. These two stacked up weekly gaps. Looking at the higher time frame, if we continue to respect and we trade through that 4-hour gap, it's going to be looking pretty bullish from there. And I'm assuming from that point there, we're probably going to head potentially back up to all-time highs, or at least to come up and take out that previous week's high. If we get below that, if we reject off that 4-hour, we inverse this weekly, then I'm assuming we're going to have a strong shift on the higher time frame and probably want to rebalance this super extended leg to the upside and maybe come down and rebalance those higher time frame gaps. So again, areas I'm looking at mainly in the week, the main buy side draw I'm looking at is going to be previous week's high. The main sell side draw for now I'm looking at is previous week's low, and we're going to be paying attention closely how price reacts off of this 4-hour gap, see if we reject and go lower, or we inverse it and we go higher. And we're ultimately going to be paying attention to this weekly bullish FVG and seeing if we get below it or we just continue to hold it by the end of the week. So again, those are the areas I have marked on my charts. No real strong bias going in. It's just really going to depend what happens in these gaps. If we reject or we're going to pay attention day by day, see what happens with the news, and we'll go from there. We have a shortened week this week, so we're going to run through the news really quick. Again, if anything changes, follow me on TikTok, join the Discord. Free pre-market analysis, all that stuff every single day. Everything in there is free, and I'll update you guys daily on what I'm looking at. Monday, we have a no news Monday. I'm most likely just going to be probably trading eval on Monday, but I will be on the charts, either very low risk or trading eval. I'm most likely going to be just trying to play some evals, build up some capital, and save it for Tuesday, Wednesday. So Tuesday we have PPI. Retail sales at 8:30, and then at 10 a.m. we have some orange folder. We have pending home sales, Richmond manufacturing. We have CB consumer confidence, which is tentative. Again, we're going to wait for all this news to play out. Hopefully we get some news data wicks to trade off of. That'll be a normal trading day for me, normal risk. But again, hopefully we get some good levels to trade off of some data wicks. That'd be, ideal. Then on Wednesday, we have unemployment claims at 8:30. We have some orange folder, core durable goods, prelim, GDP, core PCE. These are tentative, so we're going to wait and see what time those are released at, and then we'll make our decisions from there. But for the most part, Wednesday will be a normal trading day. Now, Thursday, we have U.S. bank holiday. We have Thanksgiving weekend and stuff like that in the U.S., so no trading on Thursday. And again, Friday, I believe, is half day, so no trading on Friday for me personally. So again, for me, it's going to be a short week. We'll save our capital for the week after, going into like December. Monday for me is going to be mainly eval, saving some capital. Tuesday, pretty much normal trading day after the news. Wednesday, same thing, normal trading day after the news. And then most likely just, Thursday, Friday, just chilling and seeing how this price action plays out throughout the week. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, links all in the description and pinned comments, so go check that all out. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.